who is Terrence Bradley? Because a lot of people are showing these text messages. You're seeing him testify. I don't think it's been really understood who Terrence Bradley is. So that's what I want to go to first. Because we know who Fani Willis is. Fani Willis is the district attorney of Atlanta. She's fighting a RICO case against Donald Trump, trying to keep him out of the White House. Nathan Wade is Fani Willis's lover or ex-lover, depending on how you believe the story to go, but they was fucking. And now, after they was fucking, she paid him, and this is the part that you ain't really heard about, she paid him more money than she paid the other attorneys. So while they were fucking, she hired him, and then she went on multiple big cash dollar vacations with the money that she paid. So this is not a light story. Now, beyond that, we also have a whistleblower in the office, but I did the video on the whistleblower. But this is an article from The Hill. Y'all see me, I got my podcast shirt on. I got my podcast glasses on because I'm blind and I can't see. You blind, you can't see, you need to wear sunglasses like DMC. So The Hill did a story because I like to give my audience Perfect Time Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to the backup channel, Perfect Time Live. A lot of my shorts be showing up on my backup channel. I know you might be like, what's this Perfect Time Podcast Live? That's my backup channel. I have multiple YouTube channels. I'm also on Twitter, Twitch, on all platforms, TikTok at Perfect Time Podcast Live. Like, share, subscribe, and I love you guys who are leaving the comments. The comments mean so much to a YouTuber because there's no way to judge how we're doing if the audience is interacting, if they like the material. So for everybody who's left a comment, man, bless your heart. So The Hill did a story on who is Terrence Bradley. So let's start there. And I've been going for a long time. You know, I'm not going to keep you long. So I apologize if I move through this quickly, but I want to respect your time. Bradley was Wade's. So when I talk about today, again, more context, Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, Fani Willis, district attorney, hired her lover, Nathan Wade, and a motion in the Donald Trump RICO case was presented by the lawyer for a gentleman named Mark, and his lawyer submitted a disqualification to the judge. So why? So everybody needs to understand why we're seeing this with Fani Willis. One of the lawyers representing Donald Trump in Atlanta RICO submitted a disqualification to the judge saying that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade should be removed from the case because of their broken the ethical code and they can't be trusted to be impartial, right? And she presented proof, said that they were in a relationship and they spent taxpayer money, and because of that, they can't be on the case because they broke their code of ethics. That's why we're here. So that's what she presented. Fani Willis and Nathan Wade were forced to defend themselves, right? And come clean about, because up until then, they were not being forthcoming with whether or not they had been fucking and they were lovers, right? So they were forced because of this disqualification submitted to the judge to come forth and present evidence on whether or not they were in a romantic relationship and when it took place, and the dates were very important. When were you guys fucking, and when did you stop fucking, and when were you hired, and when did she start paying you? And if you were hired and paid and fucking at the same time, we need to know, because that's going to disqualify you. They were very careful in their testimony to say, we were fucking before this time and we stopped fucking at this time, so y'all need to mind y'all fucking business because it's private. That's what they said. But how did the Trump lawyer even know? Because we didn't know that Fani Willis was fucking Nathan Wade. How did Trump and them find out? Well, now we get to who Terrence Bradley is. There was a whistleblower on Fani Willis' side, and that whistleblower's name is Terrence Bradley. Let's get to this article, okay? Now, Terrence Bradley is Wade's law partner and served as his divorce attorney starting in 2021. Now check, they are colleagues. They work together in the same law firm. And not only are they colleagues and they work together in the same law firm, but Terrence represented Wade as a divorce attorney in 2021. Revelations from the divorce case last month raised questions about the timeline of Willis and Wade's relationship, which is central to the claims that Willis saw personal benefits by hiring Wade. An acquaintance of Willis testified at the divorce case that the relationship began in 2019 before divorce proceedings began. Bradley previously took to the stand this month, but said that he could not speak on the pair's relationship, citing attorney-client privilege with Wade. So that's why this case has been bubbling, because what we're going to unravel today is text messages that show that every time Bradley got on the stand before now, he was withholding information that he had already given to Trump's attorneys. Bradley had already presented the truth to Trump's attorneys. And when he got on stand, he tried to walk it back. Bradley, let's see what it said. Bradley previously took the stand and would not speak, right? Judge Scott McCaffrey called Bradley to the stand again on Tuesday, ordering him to answer some questions in more detail. Bradley has worked as an attorney in Georgia since 2007 after receiving a law degree at John Marshall Law School in Atlanta. His testimony Tuesday is key to Trump's attorney attempts to disqualify Fani Willis from the case, citing misconduct allegations. So now we understand who this gentleman is, because a lot of us have seen the pictures of Terrence Bradley. You see Terrence Bradley on the banner, but you may not know who Terrence Bradley is. You may say, I thought we were talking about Fani Willis. And we are talking about Fani Willis, but we're talking about it in the context of this guy who got on a stand and gave information, but then withheld that information and then was forced to answer those questions by the lawyer. And now what we have is not, you've seen the video of him on the stand, but what everybody's excited about today is the fact that the text messages, the whistleblowing text messages between him and the lawyer will come out today. The text messages between him and the lawyer will come out, and that's what we're going to take a look at. So I'm bringing that up now.
By Nathan Wade's friend and former lawyer that they did not want you to see. We're going to get to that in 1 second. This morning, we will dissect the mind-blowing hearing in Fulton County that took place Tuesday afternoon and bring you exclusive information about this case. As I told you yesterday, that hearing could blow up one of the 4 criminal cases against former President Donald Trump. At the heart of it all, a man named Terrence Bradley. He's the one-time law partner, divorce attorney, and friend of Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. He did not want to be there yelling things. You don't recall it?
No, I don't recall. I would say it was the one, but I don't recall. Yes, that's speculation on my part, yes.
One more time, I didn't mean to give you all that Megyn Kelly background, because I just said that, Megyn, because you're not going to make the video.
No, I don't recall. I would say it was the one, but I don't recall. Yes, that's speculation on my part, yes.
So now he's claiming that he don't recall, and he's trying to walk back the text messages. Now let's take a look at these text messages that everybody been so enthralled with. And let y'all gonna make y'all decision in the chat on whether or not you believe these text messages are relevant. All right. So basically what, again, a bunch of text messages from Nathan Wade's former divorce attorney, seemingly showing his affair with Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis started before they claim have finally emerged. the text exchanges between Terrence Bradley and Ashley Merchant. Ashley Merchant is a lawyer for the Trump side in the Atlanta RICO case. She represents somebody named Mark, who is representing one of the former President Donald Trump co-defendants in the Georgia election fraud case, were revealed in full for the first time on Megyn Kelly's podcast on Wednesday. So let's take a look at some of these text messages. Again, these text messages are messages between Terrence Bradley, former attorney for Nathan Wade, former divorce attorney, excuse me, former divorce attorney for Nathan Wade, and he is acting in these text messages as a whistleblower, feeding information to the Trump side. Now listen, he is friends with Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. He is friends with Fani Willis and Nathan Wade to the point that Nathan hired him as a divorce attorney just as late as 2021. Now, for some reason that unbeknownst to us at this time, Terrence became unhappy, I don't know, with Nathan and Fani, and he began to leak information to the Trump side, i.e. this attorney, Ashley. These are the messages. Let's read them. I got my podcast shirt. I got my podcast glasses. I got the messages up at the biggest I can see, so you might need to get your glasses at the same time, but we're going to read them together. The green bubbles, and I know a lot of people don't like the different color bubbles if you have an iPhone, but for our purposes today, I feel very blessed that we have different color bubbles because it denotes and designates between the two people, right? So for everybody listening, what you need to know is that the green bubble is the lawyer from Donald Trump's side, right? The green bubble is the lawyer from Donald Trump's side. The gray bubble is Terrence Bradley, friend of Fani Willis, friend of Nathan Wade, and Nathan Wade, divorce attorney, right? So it starts with, I'm okay with it. It is my hope that they do the right thing before then. Terrence, this is the lawyer saying, it is my hope that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade do the right thing. You are my friend and I trust you. They will not. They are arrogant as fuck. She thinks she won the other day when she didn't have to be deposed. Now, this is something that we talked about. So remember when Fani Willis did her sister girl talking about how she keep a G and she like Grey Goose? Now, this is let you know. Now, all of us in the sector could have told you that we thought that she thought she was a big bad thing. She thought she was the shit. She thought she did that. She came in the wrong way. She called that lady a liar. Everything you say can and will be used against you, Miss Willis. But check this out, y'all. She thought she did good on the stand. She thought that gives a lot of context as to why she even acted the way she acted. Now, Ashley is saying, that wasn't a win, everybody. Y'all see this? This is what I said when I did the story. I said that sometimes people in our community, when we get money and influence, we act like no one else can see us because we don't care about what black people say about us, right? Because we think we are above blacks. Once we get money and influence, and then we start taking actions as if no one else can see what we doing. And what I said to you from the former Fulton County attorney and Megyn Kelly and the other, y'all see what I'm saying? The other reporters, they said they went down the list of every colloquialism that Fani Willis said on the stand. They went into every sister girl ideology that she said. They highlighted on Fox News, Fani Willis calls lawyer cute. Fani Willis talks about Grey Goose. Fani Willis talks about having a G. And all I said was, you was up there acting like because of your position that no one else could see you. But Fani Willis, everybody could see you. And it was in poor taste. And this is what Ashley said after he insinuated that she felt like she had a win. The lawyer said that was not a win. Thompson set them up. Y'all hear that? That was not a win. Fani was set up. It seemed like, and she fell for the bait. She fell for the bait. Thompson set them up. Do you remember when the lawyer asked Nathan, so if phone records reveal, the lawyer asked Nathan, So if phone records reveal that you were actually at Fani Willis' house and that you were actually in a romantic relationship before which you testified today, those phone records would be wrong. That's what he asked Nathan Wade on the stand. Hey, brother, I got some phone records. I got 12,000 text messages. I got 2,000 phone calls. I got your location at her house. Just like we find criminals, I pinged your cell phone and I got your cell phone at her house all night long, multiple times. So I'm asking you I'm giving you a chance. If cell phone records say that you guys were in a committed relationship outside of the dates that you testified to, those cell phone records would be wrong. Nathan Wade said, yeah, the cell phone records is wrong. The cell phone records is wrong, Nathan. This is you want to prosecute Donald Trump on the RICO, federal RICO, and you're going to get up on the stand with your milk dud head ass and said the cell phone records is wrong? Get your milk dud ass out of here. You done for. Done for. He basically gave Nathan a chance to protect her. Y'all hear that?
We have gotten our...
He said he basically gave Nathan a chance to protect her, but if he doesn't tell all, then Fani will have to sit and be disposed. She didn't have to be disposed, but if Nathan doesn't come clean on the actual dates, then she will be forced to be disposed. Nathan's finances make it look like he owed a lot of money when he began this. That's even worse.
Hands on the texts. The admissions by Nathan Wade's friend.
Let's keep going. The admission by Nathan Wade's friend and former law partner that they did not want you to see, she added in the text. Bradley calls Willis and Wade arrogant as F, calls Merchant his friend and says he trusts her. Do you think the affair started before she hired him? Merchant, representing co-defendant Mark Roman, texted Bradley early in January. So that's who she's representing on the Trump side, Mark Roman. Bradley replied, absolutely. It started when she left the DA office and was judged in South Fulton. Let's look at the text message. Do you think it started before she hired him? Terrence said, absolutely. It started when she left the DA's office and was judged in South Fulton.
Friend and former lawyer.
Oh, that video keep doing that, man. What can I do?
That they did not want you to see. We're going to get to that in 1 second.
Get on my nerves.
This morning, we will dissect the mind-blowing hearing.
All right. That's going to get on my nerves. All right. Now, that's how blind I am because it's hard for me to see that. It started when she was a judge in South Fulton. It started when she left the DA's office and they met at the municipal court conference. Now, remember, Fani Willis' friend testified, and Fani Willis and Nathan Wade both testified that they met at that conference, but they also testified that they did not become romantically involved until much later. They both had to admit because they were seen together at the conference. So they said, yes, that is where we met at the conference, but we did not become romantically involved at that time. But the testimony presented by Fani Willis' friend said no, they have been dating since 2019. This is Terrence Bradley saying they have been dating the whole time, you guys. Fani Willis is caught. This is two independent parties saying that they have eyewitness testimony. I saw them together. I saw them romantically involved going back to 2019 at this conference. This is the second person that said this conference. And Nancy, and I'm calling them Fani Wade, Nancy Willis. They have already admitted to the fact that they met at this conference. Is this accurate? Upon information and belief, Willis and Wade met while both were serving as magistrate judges and began a romantic relationship at that time. Now, understand this. When they met and began a romantic relationship, there was no improprieties. They were both equals. They were both equal magistrate judges, professionals. They were met at a con. These conferences are designed for networking. If you recall in my video, hey, check this out, Fulton Media. Fani Willis admits that Nathan Wade was her mentor. Did y'all know that? Nancy, I'm calling her Nancy. Fani Willis admitted on the stand that he was her mentor. And I said to my wife, and Fulton Media, you look like a very successful guy. I worked at very high levels in corporate America. And I said, it's very difficult to find someone, especially someone if you're Black at that high level, who's at an equal or higher level, has more experience, that you can use as a mentor. Once you get into these high levels, you're usually the only person in the room. They're very blessed to be in Atlanta. So she found another Black and a male. Think about that. I'm in Northern California. That's just not how it's going to happen. You're not going to have another Black person that is damn sure not going to be a man with more experience than you if you make it into that room. She was able to make it into that room, and she was able to find another Black professional and a Black male professional to be her mentor, who agreed to be her mentor. And when I said to my wife, I would never forego that relationship because I know how valuable it is to find a mentor at that level. It would be more important to me to have that mentor than to have a sexual partner. Again, showing Fani Willis' lack of good decision-making, good values, good character. So let's go. Yeah. It's looking like that. Look at him. Yeah. Oh, Nathan? Yeah. This is for the homies. Yeah. This is for the homies. Yeah. Go ahead, Nathan. Don't look so sad, man. I got your back, man. We're going to work with you, man. I got some more. What's this right here? Who is this right here? Let's see the video. I know you like the video.
Like just date, don't hire him. Do you think it started before she hired him? You see that?
So everybody is talking about this right here. I'm gonna rewind this. I'm gonna turn it up as loud as I can. So what ends up happening and why this is so hot in the podcast YouTube scene is the judge forces Terrence Bradley back on the stand after he refuses and claims client privilege, why he can't testify to these facts. Judge forces Terrence Bradley back on the stand to answer questions. When he's put back on the stand, the lawyers present to him his text messages, his messages between him and lawyer Ashley representing Mark on the Trump side. Now, in this video, what you have is the lawyer asking Terrence Bradley, former friend of Nathan Wade, and Fani Willis, former divorce attorney for Nathan Wade, are these your text messages? And did you say this? He says under his breath, oh, damn, they got me. Let's rewind it.
Was 2 pages of text messages between you and Miss Merchant, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, the first page starts off by saying, Miss Merchant, like just date, don't hire him. Do you think it started before she hired him? You see that?
It says here, he spent the rest of the hearing incredibly claiming not to remember basic details about when his former law partner and Willis met and started dating, and tried to explain away his messages as mere speculation. So now, once Terrence had been forced back on the stand, and he's a Black man who lives in Atlanta, probably with family in Atlanta, realizing the power of the Democratic Party in Atlanta, he's trying to walk back his text messages, which are private. They're private. He didn't say it on the stand. He gave information. He's a lawyer. He never would have had to give this information, but he's been caught. He's been caught. And now he's forced to reveal his personal text messages. And I know he didn't think he would ever have to do that. Trump and his co-defendants are asking to have Willis taken off their case for lying about when she started seeing Wade, whom she appointed as special prosecutor in the case in November 21. How will they react to this? Attack me, give the stupid, no fear or favor speech. That's another conversation. Sonia Allen. No, they will deny it. No way. They won't attack you. Oh my God. They will say those trips and cruises were for work, even though he didn't submit them for reimbursement. LOL. Oh man, they just having a good time now. It seems like she was baiting him in to a friendship. Now, this is them talking to each other. She and Wade have testified that they got together in 2022 and broke up a year later. Merchant and lawyers for Trump have been submitting evidence to show that they were actually together much earlier, going back to 2019. When asked about the list of other people, including some who worked in Fulton County DA office with Willis who would know about the relationship, Bradley responded, subpoena them all. Wow. Part of the allegations against Willis include that she financially benefited from appointing Wade to the plum role in the Trump case, notably when he paid for her to go on trips with him using cash earned on a job. Bradley seemed to be aware of these excursions, texting to Merchant. They took many trips, Florida, California, when the former daughter flunked out of college and moved to the state, Bradley added. Dang, Merchant wrote back. They had a full-on relationship. Yes. Read the full exchange here. Merchant subsequently vowed she would protect Bradley's identity in the motion she was then about to file, which claimed that Willis and Wade relationship represented conflict of interest in the election fraud case. Now listen to this. Merchant, it says here that Merchant subsequently vowed, Ashley Merchant, who now turned her back on Terrence, vowed to Bradley that she would protect his identity. Bradley never believed that he would be in this position. Terrence Bradley never believed that he would be on the stand and that his text messages will be public. She lied. He said, I trust you. He was in he thought he had a friendship. I know about them big blonde thing. I see that big blonde thing, Terrence. I know what happened to it was that snow, Terrence. It was that snow, Terrence. That she had to say no. Hey, Terrence, hey, what? You gotta just say no. Hey, what Ali Sadiq said? He said, I see it and I'll be wanting it, but I don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Terrence, man, you done got too familiar. Terrence done got too familiar, and now it done costed him. It may cost him even more than we can know, because now we getting more details. I didn't hear about this detail anywhere else. This is the first time I've heard this, and you know I do my due diligence. This is the first time I've heard that Terrence was promised that his name would not be revealed. A lot of us are seeing him testify. We're hearing his text messages, and I know a lot of people are in the assumption that he wanted to be in court, that he wanted to have his name revealed. That is not the case. He wanted to be, and he did. Lawyers do this all the time. Lawyers get information for people. Remember Deep Throat? Remember Deep Throat? Well, they keep the name of the source secret, right? So she promised him that his identity wouldn't be revealed, right? When she asked how Willis and Wade would respond, Bradley suggested that the pair would deny it, but would not attack Merchant. Despite his cavalier tone in the text message, Bradley on Tuesday appeared uncomfortable and tried to backtrack on several of prior comments because he was promised that it would never come up. Closing arguments in the hearing to determine whether Willis can stay on the case will be heard on Friday. Y'all know we're going to bring that to y'all live. After that, it will be up to Judge Scott McAfee to make a ruling. It remains unclear how much weight will be given to the messages versus what Bradley said in court. Wow. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, these are some damning information. These text messages do reveal a lot, but in the end, is it merely hearsay? Is it merely hearsay? I got one more video I would like to share with you. Some commentary, very insightful commentary, which is why I'm going to even take the time to play it, because I feel like we did a good job. I know we like to do a reaction. Fair use is in full effect. So let's react to this video. because this reporter, this journalist did a great job. So I want to play this, and I need y'all to let me know in the comments, man, what you think, man. Let's go.
What she has revealed.
Well, I think we know now, Alex, that Terrence Bradley exchanged texts with Ashley Merchant. She's Mike Roman's attorney, where he offered up a bunch of information about the relationship between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Today, he is trying to walk that back and say that he didn't have any personal knowledge, including when the relationship started. He never saw them together, that any knowledge he had about the relationship came from a single conversation with Nathan Wade. But the defense is trying to establish you knew that this woman represented a defendant in the Fulton County RICO case. You knew why she was asking you these questions. She even gave you a draft of her motion to disqualify. And if there had been something patently false in there, you're a lawyer. You would have told her. As much, wouldn't you? And he at one point said, well, I can't say I would or I wouldn't have, but they have established that he fully understood what they were doing with the information that he provided, and that he has an obligation to tell the truth today. And the bottom line, Alex, is there really is no in between. He was either lying and or speculating when he confessed to Ashley Merchant by text, or he is covering up for DA Willis and Nathan Wade now.
Which means what for him, Katie? I mean, how effective has he been as a witness? His behavior would suggest what to you?
Well, that's important because the judge in an evidentiary hearing, Alex, is not only the person who understands the law, but he has to apply the facts to that law. And the judge is also the credibility person in this case, right? He's deciding whether the credibility of these witnesses passes muster. I would say the thing about Terrence Bradley is towards the end of the last round of questioning, he did admit that he would have lied and he would have passed along lies about a friend, even as a lawyer. I think that old adage, Alex, the devil makes work of idle hands, might be the case here because he passed along gossip. I think he says, not I think he did say, I was speculating when I made these statements. The real question, Alex, is this, right? The gut check is this. Is Terrence Bradley willing to risk his bar license to take the stand and lie for Nathan Wade? And
Wow, look how far they're going.
Say no.
This
He's
is
not
what
going
happens.
to lie for
This is,
them.
it goes too far. It goes too far. This is what happens in today's narrative-driven. Everybody want a body. This is the whole academics, poetic Flacco. Everybody want to catch a body. They're creating a narrative that's not true. They're trying to insinuate to the public that something happened here that didn't happen. This is a very normal turn of events. It's very normal for lawyers to get evidence from people who don't want to take the stand, who don't want to be visible. That happens all the time. That's why I said what's that president's name? President Nixon and Deep Throat, where they refused, and then the lawyers had to go get put in prison because the lawyers refused to reveal their source. It's the same thing as it's this new whistleblower culture where you have to tell who it was. No, it's never been like that in America. You can remain private. And there was an agreement between Terrence and Ashley, and she vowed. That's not something lightly to take because we're talking about lawyers and the code of ethics, and these journalists are just leaving her out. That is not small when a lawyer gives you their word that she's in reports. I read to you that lawyer vowed that she would not reveal her source, Terrence Bradley, and she broke that vow. That puts them in an ethical dispute, because you vowed to me in the code of ethics as a lawyer, and that I understood as a lawyer that our conversations were private. They were on a private text, private phone, speculation, hearsay. There's nothing backing up these text messages. It's nothing but hearsay. It's not a text message from Fani Willis. It's not a text message from Nathan Wade. This is a third party speculating on what may have happened. He's not obligated in any way. He didn't break the law. He didn't lie. He had a conversation with a lawyer to help her with her briefing. And he was under the impression, because she vowed that these conversations were private, and he's protected by attorney-client privilege. Oh, man. I'm glad I'm doing a breakdown on this.
A very small carve out that Judge McAfee found in terms of the testimony that Bradley was having to answer. Yes. And the only lawyer, and I have to give him credit, was Steve Sadow for Donald Trump. Steve Sadow is the only one who said, let's make sure we understand the scope of what you are allowed to testify about right now. And according to Terrence Bradley, it was only one conversation that happened in the back of Bradley's office about the relationship between Wade and Willis. But what is the evidence, Alex? There is no evidence right now as to a date that Bradley has offered up as to when Wade and Willis began their romantic relationship, right? So what has McAfee heard so far? He heard from Wade and Willis that it began in March of 2022 after Wade was appointed. And the only countervailing evidence would be from Robin Yurdy, the former friend and employee at the DA's office of Fulton County, that relationship began in October. But Terrence Bradley has not confirmed Robin Yurdy's testimony that the relationship began back in 2019.
That's a fact. These text messages and his testimony doesn't confirm anything. It's a bowl of hot nothing. It makes for great YouTube content video. But actually, once we unpack this, it doesn't look good for Donald Trump's side, because you vowed that you wouldn't reveal your source, and you did. Now, the Democrats and the people ain't going to say that, but this don't look good for either side. The case is all bad. You know, if Fani Willis and Nathan Wade had any respect for their office and for their respective professions, they would step down. It wouldn't even need to be. And John Stewart, I talked about John Stewart, 1961, where the Code of Ethics was instituted, but they left out the Supreme Court justices. In that case, they never went forward in prosecuting the actual guy. He just stepped down. And he stepped down and said, I accept this because we need to uphold the Code of Ethics. What happened to people like that? He wasn't even guilty. He didn't go through a whole prosecution. When there was a question about whether or not he can be seen as impartial and fair and balanced, he stepped down. Because he understood we can't have that in the American system of justice and people think it's right and fair. He stepped down. And then after that, a Code of Ethics was instituted. And what I would say, if Fani Willis at this point is going so far, right? It's going so far that if she had any code, any character, any ethics, she would step down. If she wanted the case to go forward and Donald Trump to be actually prosecuted, if there's any success, because you got to pick a jury, if there's any success at this case being successful, Fani Willis should have stepped down weeks ago. And Nathan Wade should have recused himself weeks ago. I wouldn't have gone through this. I would not be so proud. These are some proud, indignant motherfuckers, and they know they lying. I would not have got up on that stage, on that stand, knowing I'm still married. Nathan Wade is still married. Knowing that I was fucking this woman while I was married. I wouldn't have made no excuse about my wife cheating in 2015. It's some very unmanly, uncharacteristic of a prosecutor things going on that stand. With all of that knowledge, Nathan, you should have stepped down weeks ago. You shouldn't have put yourself through this. You shouldn't have put your wife through this. You shouldn't have put your kids through this. When you know you were sleeping around on your wife despite what she did, that's nobody's business. If you would have recused yourself, no one would have needed to know that your wife cheated in 2015. It all speaks to these people having a lack of ability to make good decisions and be fair and impartial. They got to go. They got to go. They got to go. Now I got to go. My name is Perfect Time Podcast with the blast on your ass. Thank y'all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I need you to comment. Hit the comment. Write something in the comment. Thank you, and I love you to everybody that comment. Keep us growing. Keep us moving. We on our way to 5,000 subscribers. Monetary. Let's get this going. First Time Podcast with the Blast. We out.